Islandness is a state of being, a liminal space at the wild edges of earth, sea and sky. Here, in this tension between isolation and connection, permanence and change, something ancient stirs. Set within an island, on an island nation, this work is both physical and metaphorical. It reveals the unseen, the unexpected, the fragile yet resilient worlds distilled at the margins. And it asks, in the quiet hush between tides, how do these edges shape us and what can they teach us about our place in the world? My work lives at the wild edges, documenting life from above and below the surface. I amplify nature's messages and messengers, igniting curiosity, sparking wonder, to rewild our connection to the natural world. I've been co-creating visual stories for over 15 years, but my story with photography began long before that. I developed 35mm film as my first job whilst I was at school. I was really drawn to the magic of the light and the mystery of the unknown that shooting film held. That early curiosity became my calling. I'm a visual storyteller now, blending photo, video, drone, speaking and writing, and I co-create with purpose-led, nature-connected brands, organisations and leaders. Bringing islandness to life has been creation in motion. Scotney Castle, on an island within an island nation, became both muse and mirror. To create islandness in partnership with the National Trust has felt like being entrusted with something far greater than myself. A responsibility, a devotion, a deep honour. It became full embodiment of islandness, a state of being I slipped into like the tide meeting the shore. It carried me to my wild edges, called me to meet opportunity that felt far beyond the veil of anything I could imagine. Ideas percolated inwards and then rippled outwards, shaped by the pull of place and the tide of becoming. Expansive, humbling, liminal. It only became tangible in the becoming. When you sense the world so deeply, holding polarity of awe and urgency, you begin to realise that this work is not yours to own, but to carry. The exhibition has felt like a liminal space, allowing all of these stories to move through me and trusting that things that I've witnessed over the years would eventually find their way without realising what it would be, how and when. My autistic ADHD brain has really relished every moment of this, immersing in these deep textures of my special interests, exploring the sensory, decoding symbols woven through animate and inanimate, the hyper-focusing on intricate threads that are holding the narrative together. This truly has felt like my soul work. These stories have the power to unravel what we know, to stir feeling, to challenge us to bear witness to wonder and warning, and to remind us we can make a difference. As President of the Board of Trustees at Whalewise, I've witnessed how science and story come together, how research, conservation and education can shift the tide for whales and for the ocean. And during a field season, I've followed the deep threads of these stories, bearing witness to lives lived in the unseen. Like the story of Bird, an entangled humpback whale whose rescue reminded me of how closely our fates are tied. This work is the work I'm devoted to, rewilding our connection to nature as part of nature and making an impact as much as I can. And that's why any print sales made from the Islandness exhibition will see a profit donation made to Whalewise of 10%, and an additional 10% will also be donated to the National Trust. I studied human geography at university. I've always been fascinated by the why, the connection, the how between people, place and planet, and this allowed me to explore that deeply. One of the concepts that I carried forward was how our bodies are our geography closest in, they're how we navigate the world. Each of us an island shaped by the elements, stories, time. One of the things I find utterly magical is we are made of stardust. The iron in our blood only formed when stars went supernova, which means that is pulsing through our veins, each of our beating hearts like a star in this sea of stars in the cosmos. And we find ourselves here, a growing constellation of visitors whose paths have momentarily drifted through that sea together to be on this island, each of us tethered by a shared thread of curiosity And now our stories are so gently interwoven with these castles and this shared moment of islandness. I just want to thank you for being here. I am so grateful for your time in investing in considering these stories, and would hope that some of them will carry in that heart, that beautiful vessel of stardust that you are, back across this island. And I invite you to reflect on this liminal moment. You'll notice there's a letterbox masquerading as an oversized bottle, with that metaphor of posting a message into a bottle before you leave the island. And so you'll find some postcards and some pencils for you to write a reflection and share the town or city in the country that you travelled from to visit, to be here on this island. And I will chart your stories, where you're from, to build together this online growing constellation, this map of all of these islands that have connected here through this shared moment. And that will be updated from time to time online. And I hope it acts as a metaphor and an anchor for the stories that you carry forward in your heart today.